It is 21 minutes past 8. Now, here's a question for you. How far do you think you could swim underwater in one single breath? Now, if you can do the length of a standard swimming pool, most people can't even do that. That is 25 metres.
A freediver called Ant Williams has done it in 182 metres, not just underwater. He was underwater, but also under a thick layer of ice.
Yes, there's no way to get out if you needed to, is there? A documentary has just been released. Take a look, it's incredible.
So, world record attempt day today, which is very exciting.
Ant's aiming to swim 180 metres under the ice on a single breath.
There's something about going under the ice where you're not supposed to be.
Take one hand, Mark. We're going to where nobody else is really going to go.
This feels even more immersive than what you could experience in another medium.
I want to get the record, but the more you want to get a record in breath holding, the harder it is.
Let's talk to Ant Williams now. He joins us now from Melbourne. And good morning to you. First question for you as well. Why? Why would you do this?
I start with the tough question first. Well, why is it a really good question? Because in freediving, it is very uncomfortable, especially when you're under ice. The reason I wanted to do this dive in particular is because about 5 years ago, I went and broke a world record to see how deep I could go under ice, and I became the deepest man under ice. And then I decided, wouldn't it be great to see if I could also swim the greatest distance under the ice?
What is the hardest bit of this? Because it strikes me, looking at some of these images, it's freezing, it's underwater, it's under ice. So physicality, clearly a huge challenge. But is it about the mental ability to do something like this?
Yeah, look, you're spot on. The physical side is one thing, but the mental side is where it really counts. I think you could have a wonderful breath hold and great technique and good equipment, but you'll always get beaten by someone who's mentally tougher. In freediving, it's discomfort, it's the cold, it's the fear and the uncertainty, especially under the ice. And that combination is brutal. And so, yes, you have to be mentally tough.
Morning, it's Nagaran. How did you prepare? Take me through this 182 metres, because I imagine that starting off is the hardest bit, knowing that you've got so far to go.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Look, I felt really confident at the start. I believed that I could do it, that I could make this swim. But then, honestly, I took this huge breath of air in and I started swimming. And normally I feel great for the first 50 to 60 metres, but at 30 metres, I felt terrible. Not only was I cold, but I felt like I hadn't had enough breath. I felt like I was too nervous, too anxious. I was already thinking, I need to escape. I need to get out of here. It just feels wrong. Something's off. But I did just decide to just keep going. I've got to get to at least halfway. And then when I got to halfway, I was like, I actually don't know how far I've swum or how far I've got to go. And yeah, then it became quite a moment of feeling a little sort of sick inside, thinking, have I overcooked this? Have I bitten off too much that I can chew? And then I think it's almost like I suddenly clicked into this amazing state of flow where everything just clicked into place and I relaxed, I calmed down and my swimming speed dropped. And next thing I know I saw the candy cane, which says there's only 5 metres to go, and I still felt pretty good, and had some oxygen left when I came up to the surface.
It's amazing. Was there an escape plan? Were there other holes in the ice that you could come out just in case?
Yeah, it's a great question. So every 20 metres along this track that basically ran for 200 metres on the ice, there was a hole about 1 metre circumference, and there was a safety freediver in each one of these holes. So like 14 or 15 holes with safety freedivers. Each person would swim with me for 20 metres up to the next safety freediver who would take over. So, and I'm down about 4 metres, and there's a marker every 20 metres that I'm looking at that tells me there's an escape hatch above me.
You said when you were under the water, it was about you getting to a place where you could calm down and your breathing slow, just swimming slowed. you also normally would warm up in a way, sort of yoga moves and things like that, to get your head into the right space, wouldn't you? But you didn't even have time to do that on this dive.
Yeah, it's a great point, because normally you're freediving in the Bahamas or in the Mediterranean coast, somewhere warm and beautiful where it's like 28 degrees. And there you just get used to spending an hour or maybe 2 hours doing yoga, meditations, slowing your heart rate down, getting into the water and maybe spending an hour just preparing your body for what's about to go through. Not on the ice. It was -10 to -20 degrees Celsius each day. And so it meant that I get into the water and someone looks at me and says, 1 minute, you got to go in 1 minute or you're going to start to get hypothermic.
Wow. Well, how did you know that you could hold your breath for a long amount of time? When did you realise that?
Honestly, it's a trained thing. I could never hold my breath very long. I wasn't very sporty as a kid. And I always looked up to athletes and thought how neat to be that confident and courageous and be able to do things that would be quite scary for me, I thought. And so I never had any predilection or skill or any natural gift. It was really just hard work. And I did find, though, that I increased a lot faster than other athletes in their breath hold just by applying those techniques from sports psychology on how to stay calm and how to control your breathing and how, when the discomfort started to kick in, how to stay really relaxed.
That's actually really quite inspiring, because anyone who thinks I'm not sporty and I could never do anything like that
Can train.
can train.
Yeah. And briefly, Anne, I don't even ask, though, like, what next after this crazy thing? What have you got planned?
Well, for me, it's about going out to the edge of my sport and playing around right on the fringes, because that's where you learn the most about yourself. You learn new techniques, you can try out different equipment and really extend the sport. So I'd love to find where that next edge is, be it in Antarctica, doing stuff under the ice there. Hopefully it'll be somewhere warmer, but who knows?
Yes, absolutely. Somewhere warmer. I think you've earned that by now. Ant, good to talk to you. Thank
Congratulations.
Ant Williams.
Bye. I like a wave.
Yeah.
Bye from RK. The documentary about Ant's record-breaking feat is called Ice Dive. It's available on Apple TV as part of the Adventure series.
Yeah, you could call it that. What an adventure. Yes.